this small portion of the time being available to prepare for that future allows us to ensure that we can keep a research facility in low Earth orbit to investigate the technology and the human factors we need to get ready to go to Mars.
Thank you very much. My time has expired.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. The chair now recognizes full committee ranking member Lucas for 5 minutes of questions.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Gerstenmaier, let's step back and look at a kind of a more of a broader perspective. NASA recently released summaries of the private sector's low Earth orbit commercialization plans. Did NASA learn anything from these studies that it did not expect? Were you surprised by anything?
Yes, I think the takeaway that we saw from the plans were the diversity and the options of what the companies thought for revenue generation, what they thought the cost would be associated. There were a lot of differing opinions from their perspective of what they saw the benefits of space research were. So I think the diversity of the responses we got surprised us. We thought they would be more aligned in one specific area. So that's why we pursued this 5-point plan I discussed.
So I assume that was a pleasant surprise then.
It's interesting but it's hard for us now to pick then a concrete path to go forward from those studies.
Along that line, Mr. Gerstenmaier, in 2015 we saw reports that the Russians intended to detach their modules in 2024 to form their own habitat in low Earth orbit. If, in the event this were to happen, how should the U.S. engage its international partners? And along with that, would a Russian departure from the ISS require further U.S. investment in ISS to keep it running without a Russian segment?
I think that's a interesting hypothetical discussion. There's lots of dependencies between the Russian segment and the U.S. segment. We provide power to them. We provide approximately 1,000 commands today go through U.S. assets, and those are Russian commands going to their side. So I think in reality, we're going to have to stay together as an international partnership, whether we really want to or not, and we can talk about things hypothetically, but in reality, we're part of the international partnership that needs to work together, and we'll continue to work together in the future.
So we're hooked at the hip then. That makes sense. Mr. Stallmeyer, does maintaining a presence in low Earth orbit necessarily mean the presence must be a NASA presence, or could American companies maintain that presence? And along that line, does maintaining any sort of crew presence in low Earth orbit necessarily mean maintaining a presence on the ISS in particular?
Sir, I think it's both. I think that NASA should retain a permanent presence in low Earth orbit, but I think there's also a commercial element as we're seeing private sector habitats being developed.